So, I was just watching Veritasium, and of course, obviously, he just released the mechanism shrinks when pulled, and I went, oh right, yeah, that thing that I did when I was a kid because I was super interested in magic. Not even kidding. Like it's a thing, yeah. Back when I was a kid, right? It's like, this is a very counterintuitive thing, right? But the reason why is because I can trick you with these ropes. Like, the ropes now mean that I can shrink both the distance, but also, excuse me, I was just having some walnuts. Still a little bit in there. But the point is like, oh, but if I slowly extend, and so I would extend the rope in this little experiment I did, until eventually I got to the point where it's like, oh, there's two of them now on each one of them, and they shrink. Because I was like, oh, the ropes are going to have to be like this long or something, right? And they got shorter. They got way shorter. Yeah. So I was like, oh, I have to keep shortening these. Oh, and then it goes longer on the thing. I was holding it up. And that's how I discovered this. That's literally how I did that. I was just fucking around with ropes and springs to try and fool my parents. At a magic trick. Right? But, as fun as that is, it's like, I've gotten to behold. The beholding. The beholding, of course. Lots of beholding. And I'm like, yes, but actually, though, this gets into flow dynamics, and this guy also doesn't include the psychological aspect. And I just had to talk about this, because each car is a quantizable point that ultimately goes through a balance of informational states that then relate information for the level of backup that they see projected in the future, meaning I will be there over time, okay, as I see all this pile of cars. So the A point and the B point, so along the length of this rod, which is now split, okay? So that becomes balanced through, all right, well, I will just psychologically immediately leave, okay? I'll just psychologically go, and then I'll take the end, I'll go around, right? So, fun part is it's like, wait, actually, at any given point, any one of these gets balanced to technically be just under, thanks to being able to order at the B point, at that end, themselves going through. So if you just have a simple controller for that, it actually equals out to being a smaller amount. But that's because the 2,000, right? Cars. But it's like each car you would think has to be bifurcated, but it's like, this is not actually what this is. It's still just one, but one now gets a superpositional equational state. Is it a quasi? Yeah, math thing. It goes from A, and then that's actually technically 3, but it's a delta. So the quantization are the rules of a delta that changes given behavior patterns. This is a quantum, fluid, and thermodynamic mathematical equation. A really fun one at that. And as it goes through, it bifurcates off, and then it will bifurcate and then join back in. Now, this actually lowers everything, okay? And this is mostly because you're wrong. Sometimes people just want to go, well, I have enough time, and I can maybe get a little bit more miles to the gallon because I'm not stopping and just starting. And, you know, there's like a whole bunch of things here that effectively just make me want to try and do it. That's a good thing, right? But that good thing doesn't really change that this will now balance as more and more pour off to the sides and think that they can get a little bit more out of the system. And so it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And we get wave dynamics that are very similar to how light waves move through anything. Okay? So as that also happens, we end up having momenta traverse through different given material, as this is an energy-based phenomenon. Now, as it goes through, right, that means it doesn't balance actually to the same point. It always remains at a faster rate than it did before, if they do this. let's say the most initially point A to point B would be 21, right, is what he's saying it would be. Except the answer is no, actually, it will be about 20 if they use all three of them, which is not really what it is. It's actually technically more than that, because it acts like a 1, but it's 1 and then 2 and then 1 with that 2. So you get 1 and then 2, which 1 turns into that as a result of 2 collapsing to 1 and 1 going and turning into 2. Now all of those as 2 turned into 1, but it was also still 1, and that's the delta quantization of a superpositional state, and that's an equational part of that math. All right, because one single little symbol is what they use for that. It's not even a joke. Like, if you look at it, it's like another one of those memes where it's like, and this is the Bernoulli's principle versus the Venturi effect. And I'm like, this guy over here, he cheating like a motherfucker. That's the exact same fucking thing. It's like there's exact math. It's the same math. But this is very close to effectively exactly the same thing that they're doing light and quantization-wise in a superpositional dimensional, because that's a delta, right, state. So as it goes through, it then equalizes to being just under that lowest straight through point. But that's because we're assuming that in all ways people are going to do regular people things, which is speed. They're going to go faster because they can go faster. Psychologically, they will go faster because they can go faster. And they'll try and get away with it. And so here's the sort of frictional enforcement coming around, right? So you need to slow down. And one of them gets nabbed and boom, and it hits the side, right? And so like others have to go around and they slow down and they go through. And so like that changes as an oscillative matrice as a delta, because of course that gets moved, right, over time. Right, and so like as it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, that's a fluid thermodynamic oscillation information wave. Right? Standard stuff. But as standard and easy as this is, it totally is. It is. It very much is when you get the hang of it, for what it's worth. Right? But what we'll say is that, of course, all of these people now will try and game a system, and they'll go faster and slower. And so it oscillates between just below and slightly above the total amount of time if they add this. That's what we see here in real life too. Now, why do we see that? Well, the answer, anecdotally, for everyone that says that is totally faster until those days when everything gets just destroyed and there's just nothing but traffic. Thanks, police. And then they go, look, it's because they have quotas, and we move forward. Right? If only the darn fucking police, which they tend to stay away from certain areas because they know that that traffic has to go faster, and if they don't do that, everything seems to, anecdotally by them, get worse traffic-wise. So, if we know the basics of what this is, we know that this now becomes a bell curve, but it's not. It's exactly the same thing, dependent on obvious variable factors that you can determine, a p-value. You're just not seeing those things because, of course, there are buildings and other things in the way, but you can still observe them at different points and know how information will radiate through the given system, which is what we use as a traffic control report for predictive analysis of where traffic will be. Crazy, but like, why aren't we very good at it? Because people are stupid at predicting things. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna have said particle over here, individual fucking stupid force, be like, you know what? But I feel like today, right? I don't know if I'm gonna just go for it. I think the police isn't gonna fucking like try and get me. Maybe I could sneak between. Squid! You fucking bitch motorcycle having. I want to do that. Jealous all the time. Just a ginormous bro truck just coming through. Right? And it's like, wow, so it's almost contingent on what they feel size-wise they can get away with. You know what I mean? Alongside of, like, I wonder if it's light, so there's just less light around, so there's less energy, and so there's less friction. You know, possible. You know, like, they're not, like, going to show up in this one place where you can go super fast, and there's not really anyone on the road, you know what I mean? And maybe they'll just get nabbed by a light or something. You know what I'm saying? And instead, what we see is that they go much, much faster, randomly. We don't know why. Except they seem to have these really good cars or something like that. They just kind of want to try. Maybe that's just one of those things that they do, right? Like, hey, you know, I got a beater, but I want to see if I can get her all the way up to the max speed. I've never done this. It's like fucking 2:30 in the morning. I want to see if I can get this done. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you didn't hear it. 115, huh? Still always the same. Always freaking locked. It's never locked by power. Probably don't have the right tires anymore. So you probably shouldn't do that, by the way. Please don't do that. Go to a track or something. But what we do know is that people do that all the time. So you have to deal with that. So it's like, wait, that seems to be that we have similar behavior to particles, perhaps, that have self-relating informations of a certain sort that change the rules of decision-making based upon what they can then see. That's right, a single particle can now be influenced in such a way that it changes its rules as it goes through a given medium, and it gains more information as it goes through it. Where have we seen this before? Well, I mean, our skin alone is one of those things. I mean, every single atom is literally that. That's a compound and chemical relating to any given fucking information system, you know? I think we see it everywhere. It does seem to be that way, yes. Every day, it's literally our eyes, our brains are seeing it as we're doing the seeing. So obviously, right, it's technically correct, and it gets everything explained very well, and that's what I like about it. However, it's like, yes, German guy, but actually, though. And then, shing, you've forgotten the simple stuff. The very easy things. Everybody knows about this stuff. Everybody. Not okay, really? Yes, I was sitting here just saying to myself, there's no way that they wouldn't just try anyways. There's no way. And on your bluey, like your fucking stupid post about how they use these methods of psychological equations and the Space Force D&D to then advertise and sell us things that predict what we're thinking about and more. It's like, oh, really? And what we might do, and crowd flow dynamics and more. And where that money might go, you know. Corporation-wise. Economy-wise. Dirty money laundering shit. Dude, not. Because it's totally supposed to be legal. It's totally supposed to be legal. Not! No, it's not, but they're doing it. So there's that. Why would you post about this? Oh, I probably would say because of this. This is one of the reasons why. It's almost like I already know. It's almost like I've been saying this for super long periods of time, but I'm very happy to see a good video posted about it that is really decently well informed, right? Put together and enjoyable, and I get to remember something that I haven't talked about or thought about in a really long time for how I understood something like a long time ago, right? Like, oh, shit, yeah, wow. shit. It's been that long. Huh. Very interesting. Quite interesting stuff, truthfully. Yeah. Fuck, I'm gonna watch the rest of this.